Linda Zaki of Calgary, Alberta. This is your chance to win big. This is Save on Foods $1 Million touchdown to win. If a kickoff is returned for a touchdown, you could win groceries for a year. If 2 kickoffs are returned for touchdowns in this game, you could also win $1 million. Good luck, Linda. Let's get you to the guys calling it. It's Lapo and Marshall.
Thank you, Kate, and welcome to Week 2, Canada. We begin the 3-game weekend slate with 2 teams on opposing ends of a classic CFL ending in week number 1. The walk-off field goal is one of the CFL's most passionate fan bases, shows why they're the class of the CFL once again, and hope that their team can match the energy. Hello, everyone, and welcome inside the broadcast booth. Marshall Ferguson, Paul Appleese, Danielle Bain down there at field level for us in the rain for now. But we'll see how this goes over the next couple of hours. But it is a matchup of 2 veteran quarterbacks. We obviously know their mettle. Bo Levi Mitchell coming off back-to-back seasons for the first time in his CFL career, where he had 5,000 yards passing.
And the interesting thing, talking to Scott Milanovich this week, he said, we put the most systems I've ever put in a season, and Bo can handle it. The thing I love about Bo, he has been throwing the checkdowns and taking those one-on-one shots to Kenny Lawler when available, but he's not forcing the football. And Zach Collaros, everyone's talking about, hey, they got to run the football away. You know, the game goes through Zach Collaros. Most interception in the CFL last week, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He protects the football. This team goes a long way this season, Marshall.
There is Mike O'Shea, the head coach of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. As I asked him this week, what do you got in your office? You got Mike O'Shea memorabilia? He said, no. This is all about the team. This is a very simple man that just wants to get victory. He's able to do that in week 1. And Scott Milanovich felt like he should have had a victory last week against the Montreal Alouettes at home in the season opener. But of course, the Montreal Alouettes storming back and causing havoc for the Ticats as they now go on the road. Is drifted in over the top of Princess Auto Stadium, and the man who ended the Bombers' Week 1 matchup, Sergio Castillo, with the from the 30-yard line. We're set to go. Welcome to Week 2. Play some CFL football as it drops down to Isaiah Wooden at his own 10-yard line, runs through 1 tackler and gets popped at the 30-yard line. And we get our first opportunity to see Bo Levi Mitchell. Had an extremely high completion percentage last week, 34 of 39 in the season opener. And
that's what I talked about off the top of the show. They played very well. They only had 2 penalties all game, Marshall. Moved the ball well, but a pick 6. Late pick 6 in the 3rd quarter, and then a turnover in overtime pretty much sealed the deal for their loss, I believe, in that last game.
And as soon as I reference the rain, the sun pops through the clouds. Get used to that for the remainder of the evening, as it'll be back and forth as a heavy set in here right away with Max Mang and Antti Litre in as double tight end set. Tiger Cats show heavy and give the run inside. Larry Roundtree the 3rd. He pounds his way forward for a gain of 5, maybe 6, as we look at the Hamilton Tiger Cats starting offense.
Yeah, I'm really interested. You know, Liam Dobson moves inside, and Dumolier Duguay from Laval gets the move. They're making a move, take Kolinkowski off the field. Carrick Weekfall comes back to his old team, had a really good game last week. He's going to be somebody who can get some of the underneath stuff and the go balls that Bo loves to throw.
And Bo working against this crowd, not just the Winnipeg defense, as he's checking at the line of scrimmage. Willie Jefferson flies off the edge. They'll go draw handoff inside. And putting his head down and crossing the 40-yard line for a Hamilton first down. Once again, that is Larry Roundtree, the 3rd.
So 2nd and 5 is a very high percentage pass in the Canadian Football League, usually 90. And you see everybody out of the box. There's only 4 players. You release 1 lineman upfield, let the D-line rush upfield, and then just hand it to your tailback. Sometimes you don't like calling those draws on 2nd and 15, Marshall. You call it on 2nd and 5, you know you're going to get the first like they did right there.
The sprint, the former Bomber Carrick Weekfall out to the outside, grabs some eyes, go back inside. 3 plays, 3 rushes for Larry Roundtree, as we all group that 39 pass attempts in week 1 as we look at the opposing Winnipeg defense.
Jake's Jones has been outstanding for this defense last couple of years, and Retta Cranby, one of the smartest football players that Mike O'Shea has ever coached.
Under center, Jake Dolagala short yardage quarterback will plunge his way to the right-hand side and pick up the first down. You mentioned Liam Thompson going to center. Went back and looked at it. Nearly 2,000 snaps in his time with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers here, 2022 to 24, Lapo, and 0 at center. The only time he's played center for the Hamilton Tiger Cats was last year in one game. It happened to be the East Final against the Montreal Alouettes, and he graded out very highly. So stepping in for Chris Kolinkowski, who you see on the sideline there watching on as they shuffle there Nate Dumoulin-Duguay into that right guard position, and that offensive line key to the Tiger Cats controlling the first really 2.5, 3 quarters against Montreal last week. Back to the ground they go, pulling around the edge is Dumoulin-Duguay, and on first down goes for a gain of about 4.5 yards. And Larry Roundtree getting plenty of work right out of the gates.
And Roundtree bounces it out on the outside of the defense. Sometimes you have to make sure, the first thing you have to do defensively is make sure you cover the outside gaps. No player on the outside. Roundtree recognizes it, bounces it outside for a nice 5-yard gain.
It's a little rainbow there on the outside of Princess Auto Stadium. See if Bo sends one high in the sky for the first time here on 2nd down and 5. Mitchell throws left and short of the first down marker. Johnny Augustine was waiting for it to drop out of the Winnipeg air into his waiting arms, grabs it, but will come up about 1.5 yards, maybe even 2 yards shy.
Just throw out into the flat, empty protection. What does that mean? You take everybody out, you spread out to 6 receivers. Johnny Augustine on the out route, he's got to get a little bit more depth. All he needs is 1 more yard and then go for the quarterback sneak. It's not great situational football by Johnny, but the ball was held up in the air a little bit by Bo there.
Late decision, but the Tiger Cats do decide to punt it away, so they send out Mitch McCarthy, the Aussie, in that spot. 2025. The best in the CFL with the Beast. Award winner from the CFL Awards last year, hauls it in with flags in the air. And we'll sort that out on this head-to-head matchup. Can't take these for granted. Bo Levi Mitchell and this guy, Zach Collaros, now a Bombers legend when we return. No, that's not a Farmer's Almanac that you're looking at with all the years listed. That have won significant things in the Canadian Football League. Thinking about this one coming in, Lapo, and you really cannot take for granted the fact that these 2 veterans, these standout, these Hall of Famer quarterbacks, environment, right? This is special.
And the interesting thing about that board is each have 2 Grey Cup wins, and these are outstanding quarterbacks. Just shows how hard it is to sometimes win a Grey Cup, even when you have quarterbacking. But Zach and Bo have done it for a long time at a high level.
Laros turns 38 in August, but still got that young arm as he hands it off inside, and Brady Oliveira plunges forward for a couple of yards as we get a look at Zach Collaros and his numbers here coming into week number 2 after coming off a season with a career-high 16 interceptions, tied for the most in the CFL.
Yeah, and the thing I loved about working with Zach in 2019 is just his love of the game. He would stay all day. He would stay into the night with me to do the game plans and make sure he was up to speed on what we're running offensively, and he had a lot of input and wanted to have a lot of input. You love that in your starting quarterback.
Wynton McMahon is still out. Ryan Baker, the middle linebacker, makes a check at the line of scrimmage as Destin Talbert blitzes late, and it threw off Collaros just a little bit, but able to sidearm it. The Tiger Cats say it should be incomplete, but Tommy Neal, for now, the McMaster product playing against hometown team, they'll say he's got possession, and Winnipeg goes quickly to try and opportunity to challenge.
So
right away, handoff inside. They get the completion, and Oliveira making hay while the sun shines.
Here by the Bombers, watching let's take a look at this. We think this may be an incompletion, and the Bombers do a good enough job understanding the situation. This ball touches the ground. Looks like it might have. Okay, I think we got a better angle right here. You see it kind of bounce down. So how does this work? The Bombers get up to the line of scrimmage before any coaches upstairs get to see it. They call a play immediately. It's situational football you work on with your team.
5 wide for Collaros. Looks over the middle of the defense. It's complete. for a big chunk play, and that's not new with Collaros taking shots down the field plenty in week 1.
You clear people out, and then you play somebody behind on a layered throw. And the hard part is the defense is dropping from the line of scrimmage, so it's so huge spot. Zach recognizes it and knows where he's going with the football. That's a great throw to Tommy Neal.
Heavy set in here, double tights for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Handed off inside. Brady Oliveira trying to get away from the backside tackler. Gude trying to make the tackle for loss, but couldn't get a grasp on number 20 as he leads this offense.
Hey, not a lot to talk about this. Tyler Ellsbury at O-line. This is an American offensive, you know, you play an American. The first time the Bombers have started 3 American offensive linemen in a long time. And Tim White comes to his own team. 5 catches last week, 60 yards and a touchdown. Really enjoys being back with Tommy Condell, knows the system, so it was an easy transition for him in training camp.
Late shift from the Tiger Cats defense. Collaros sees it and sends Nick Dembski in motion. And Zach, now with pressure, steps up in the pocket, pumps, and Collaros spinning away. And he got the first down. Looks like, well, it'll be close. Mike O'Shea right there at the sticks, taking a good hard look at it.
Watch this, Marshall. Look at all these guys. They got like a bunch of guys standing in the line of scrimmage. They're trying to make it difficult for not only Zach, but the offensive line. Brent Munson, defense coordinator of the Ticats, showing a lot of different pictures early in this game and dropping players out. Zach didn't have anything he liked, so pull it down and get the yardage. And again, you get the 1 yard, gives you the opportunity to go to PBC.
No hesitation from head coach Mike O'Shea. Sends in the short yardage package with Bryce Perkins at quarterback. And it looks as though he has got it comfortably. First down, Winnipeg.
Julian Hauser, 13 sacks last year, 2nd in the CFL. He's going to have to continue to have an impact this year. I love Reggie Stubblefield. His film was so good. Obviously injured, coming off an injury from 2 years ago. Was able to get in the lineup last year, 4 tackles last week. And Greg Jr., field corner.
Largest Stavros Katsantonis with the range he has. As Collaros will throw across his body, big hit. Back into the traffic flow goes Tommy Neal. And Jamal Peters is down. And the Hamilton defense asking for immediate assistance. As Neal off to a quick start, and the training staff will attend to Jamal Peters. We'll be right back to Winnipeg. Welcome back to Winnipeg. You see players down on a knee, and the concern right now for Jamal Peters, standout boundary corner for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, is we'll give you one look at it here with Tommy Neal making the reception, and then just one of those bang-bang football plays with Peters trying to do anything he can to make contact, but it looks like Neal's knee just caught him in the side of the helmet.
Yeah, he's trying to make the play on Tommy, and you know, sometimes when your head's down, you're going to take a shot to the knee, and those are difficult. Those are really difficult because you know, the knee's going to deliver a blow, so he took that shot. Jamal Peters, so good for this team. 6 interceptions last year, tied for first on the football team. 6-year player, good, outstanding player.
And it looks like Devondrick Bynum is jumping into the lineup and will likely take that place as they shuffle the deck on the back end. We'll sort through exactly what the personnel package is, but the 26-year-old DB, 19 games over 2 years in Edmonton, had 5 interceptions and CFL training camp with the Calgary Stampeders, and then released. And Hamilton quickly picked him up, as you see Destin Talbert watching on alongside Bynum.
So now they're just make sure they're doing their best to protect, try to minimize movement for the head. So Stavros Katsantonis.
Of course, the discussion always here, and the reason why they're so cautious with it, right, is that you can think, yes, it is a head injury, but they also need to make sure that there is integrity of everything else, whether it be neck, shoulder, and try to make sure that it's done in the most well-organized policy followed to make sure that he is safe to be able to move. As Scott Milanovich walks his way across the field. It looks as though they will bring stretcher out here. And so we will step away with Jamal Peters getting the very best care from Princess Auto Stadium early on, scoreless in Winnipeg.
Closed captioning is brought to you by MasterCard in support of Jumpstart. Together, we can help give kids a chance to play.
New Canadian deep dish slices and sticks from Little Caesars. 2 delicious slices and 4 pieces of Italian cheese bread you don't have to share. How un-Canadian. Sorry, eh? Get a Canadian deep dish slices and sticks for only $7.99 from Little Caesars. Hot and ready.
Welcome back to Winnipeg as the training staff from both teams now continue to work on Jamal Peters, involved in the Tommy Neal collision on the last play. As Tiger Cats teammates watching on, standing nearby, is back in the lineup is Braxton Hill here tonight. Julian Hauser close as well as some of the captains and leaders of this group, trying to make sure they are near to the situation to show their support right now, as Brett Monson watches on from the sidelines as well, and Scott Milanovic made his way out to go and see Jamal Peters as well, and checked in and went back to the sideline.
Yeah, Jamal, as he was trying to make a tackle, he went low, and Tommy Neal was trying to jump up, and Tommy Neal's knee got into Jamal Peters. I think hit him right. His knee hit him right in the head, so hopefully he's going to do okay once they get him on the stretcher and protect him and make sure he's okay.
Again, one of those things that moments like this where the game just comes to a screeching halt with incredible energy in the stands, is it reminds you as you watch Jarrell Broxton and Patty Neufeld watching on, is 19 league, right? And you start thinking about the dress roster sizes and how often guys have played with or against each other. There is a ton of mutual respect, and Jamal Peters, it doesn't matter necessarily about the caliber of player that you are, but everybody knows Jamal Peters. Everybody has seen what he can do in the CFL, and right now they just want the very best for him.
One of the coolest things about this league is how small, like you say, the teams are, the relationships all these players have from team to team, and the relationships they build. So a lot of Bomber fans making sure that Jamal Peters is okay too.
Faithful once again packing the stands here this evening as expected, and they wait patiently just like the Tiger Cats and Bombers do for Jamal Peters to get top-notch care.
And that's the hard part for all these players, as these players are thinking about their teammate. Play football. That's the worst part of sometimes playing these professional sports. The game must go on.
Ways you get basically your whole day is predicated around eating the right food, getting stretched at the right time, getting loose, the build up, the intensity, the pregame. You go through the first couple of drives, and then the reality is that there is no alternative other than to deal with the reality of the situation, which is concern for Jamal Peters, and the game taking a back seat to anything else.
Yeah, and then the players got to do their best to go play for their teammate, and that's the hardest part coming out of this. Jamal Peters.
It's good to see Peters. Helmet shell still on, and great respect from the 15th straight sellout here at home from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And this is the tough moment to see one of your friends and teammates, a guy you had breakfast and lunch and all the rest with, exiting the field in a way that you certainly do not want to see. As Zach Collaros and Brady Oliveira, the leaders of the Winnipeg offense, give their maximum respect and take the time to make sure that Jamal Peters can hear their voice as well as he's secured with the medical staff. And the of course, we'll continue as Mike O'Shea just made sure that he went down the bench and gave Jamal Peters a little tap on the arm. And with 6 minutes remaining here in the first quarter. The difficult task at hand for both clubs is to go back to football intensity. But it is the reality, and so they will play. As Polaros play action goes to the back of the end zone, and did it fall out of the arms of, was that? Wow, he had 3 catches all of last week on 4 targets. Had 3 catches, the only receiver to catch a pass in this first drive, and nearly had his 4th.
Zone read, pulls the ball, breaks it on the perimeter, sees Tommy Neal in the back pylon. You're trying to tell him to run to the back pylon. The ball's in. You wish it would have gone up a little bit sooner. Tommy's still got to make this catch. If he doesn't bobble this is a touchdown. But he bobbles it a little bit, doesn't control it. Difficult. Should have been a touchdown for the Bombers.
Neal had an early drop in week 1 against Calgary. He's only had 5 career drops over 54 games before last week. Now he's got 2 on this season, matching his career high for a single season as Polaros looks left and rips this one, tapped up in the air and almost intercepted. Breaking route, but closest to it was Reggie Stubblefield, who said last week, for the first time since he's been a Tiger Cat, he really felt like himself, back to normal after the injury he dealt with last season.
Yeah, and trusting that they could play some man coverage down here at the goal line, and they show up, and we're able to make a play on the outside. When you're in man coverage, you got to be able to cover guys down, run with them on those inside crossing routes, and make the play, knock the football down. It's a good play by Greg Jr.
3 career 60-yard field goals for Sergio Castillo. This one nowhere close to it as he hits the chip shot. Tommy Neal with a great opportunity. Former 30th overall selection of the Toronto Argonauts. Making his way to Saskatchewan and then here to Winnipeg. Almost had 6, with the scoring opened by the Bombers at home. Hamilton Tiger Cats in the season opener, their home opener as well against the Montreal Alouettes. They were controlling it until they weren't. As you see the overtime fumble there by Carrick Wheatfall, and that is an absolute death sentence when it comes to CFL football in overtime. Lapo, the number's not great when you have a turnover on the first possession, and Jose Maltos Diaz knocks it through, and Hamilton starts their season just like they ended it, with a walk-off field goal for the Alouettes in their barn. Go Levi Mitchell goes back to work after staying on the sideline for a while. Nice hands catch, snagging it out of the air. There's KL89. Kenny Lawler back to work here in Winnipeg.
Why is Kenny Lawler one of the best, if not the best in the CFL? Watch the catch radius on this catch here as we run it right and roll it. The ball is behind him, and then he goes, okay, I just got to find a spot, and he can throw his body back. He's got the awareness to know it's behind, and he's got the body control to put his hand.
Tiger Cat for a gain of 52.
Carrick Wheatfall is going to be one of the big play receivers in this to complement Kenny Lawler. Jonathan Moxey caught looking in the backfield a little bit. Bo Levi fakes like he's throwing it down. See that little hesitation? That's all it takes. Bo knows where he's going with the football. Great throw downfield. It's a way to get a huge play and flip the field.
Tiger Cats offense slow getting organized. They hand it off, and it's Larry Roundtree III, driven down by Kyrie Wilson, playing in middle linebacker, of course, because Joan Santos knocks out for the season with a non-contact injury in the first day of training camp, and trying to go back to that ground game. Once again, Carrick Wheatfall found the end zone in his Ticats debut, a little 4-yard run, but you got a feeling they want to get him one through the air here back at his old stomping ground.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talked about the run game. Like Larry Roundtree, like Scott Melandrin said in our meetings this week, we got to do a better job running the football. We got to make sure we don't abandon it. We make sure that we're not a one.
Canadian Keandre Smith. That's where Mitchell goes. Smith dives to the end zone. Touchdown, Tiger Cats.
The Tiger Cats emptied the backfield. What does that mean? There's 6 receivers out. The Bombers are still trying to pressure, but they're playing zone behind it. See that? Just sat in, when you're trying to pressure like that, you've got to be careful of how much zone space you create. DeAndre Smith's in the right spot, or he adjusted his route and sat in the dead area. Bo knows that, puts it on him for a nice touchdown. Once again, Marshall.
Point through DeAndre Smith in his 5th year in the Canadian Football League and coming off his first 1,000-yard season.
So here's what I want you to show. There is going to be some pressure, but it's going to happen from a zone picture. So if you roll it, and DeAndre Smith's right here. So follow DeAndre Smith. As this ball happens, you'll see defenders kind of working to the flat. They're trying to go out that way. When you're expanding in zones, that's too big of a space. DeAndre just sits in it. Bo recognizes the halfback working for width, just throws that ball underneath. So great recognition from Bo and DeAndre Smith to get the first touchdown of the year. And there it is. We haven't seen the neck. You know, he always has great neck jewelry. Always see that each year.
It's like one of those viral trends where the chain gets bigger every game throughout the year until all of a sudden you realize.
And let's talk about Kenny Lawler and DeAndre Smith. Think about DeAndre Smith had the biggest game last year for receptions in a game. Last season against BC Lions, 14 catches. That was the best in the CFL. Why? Hey, if everybody's going to take away Kenny Lawler, these other players are going to get big plays. DeAndre Smith gets his first touchdown of the year.
Tiger Cats passing offense last year, first in the CFL with those 37 passing touchdowns. And Bo Levi Mitchell throws one here to get things going in Winnipeg on the road in week 2. He goes immediately back to the tablet, starts plotting the next touchdown pass. Trey Babel crosses the 30 to the 35, dancing in the open field and almost shot the gap. Finally wrapped up and brought down Jordan Crook. Got the last piece of him, but it took several Tiger Cats to bring down Babel on another electric return.
And, you know, obviously, Trey Babel, is somebody you better plan. I know Bob Dice, special teams coordinator, is going to make sure he does everything in his power to work. These don't happen often. Returns all the way to the wide side of the field because there's so much ground to cover, so many fast players. So this is what you call a field return. The ball's kicked to the boundary, you go to the field, finds a crease, and able to get good yardage all the way out to the 45.
Tiger Cats scoring a 4-play, 70-yard touchdown drive. See if Colaros can answer his counterpart, Bo Levi Mitchell, as Tim White, another former Tiger Cat, gets his first touch of the ball game. And work number 12 in. He said he wasn't thinking too much about anything other than just trying to get a victory in his first Blue Bombers home game, but you can get the feeling now that the juices are flowing. I'm
going to highlight him and the defender up there. Go ahead and play it. Tim White, this is a play-action pass. This is one of Tommy Condell's staples. I'm going to max protect, and we're going to throw the ball on the outside in a one-on-one situation. We're going to make this route so deep, zones turn to man.
That came down and made the play. Tim White led Winnipeg last week, by the way, 5 of 6 for 60 yards and a touchdown. So he's already connected with Colaros and mixing him in more and more here in week 2.
Watch Reggie Stubblefield. He's covering the receiver, and when he sees the receiver block, he's free to go ahead and fill and make the play. We talked about him off the top, like having guys in the box who can cover but also play the run is so crucial in the Canadian Football League. One of the best at it. Really good pick, free agent signing last season by the Ticats.
I love about that. Stubblefield's 30 pounds down on Oliveras. Now Dembski running to the end zone, reaches touchdown lineup here today. And in the end zone.
We've seen a lot of corner routes for touchdowns to the corner of the end zone between Zach Polaris and Vic Dembski. Zach way. He sees the corner in the halfback low. He sees inside position from the safety. I'm going to take this shot on the perimeter. Great location, great rundown by Dembski, running the football down.
Castillo is good. So after 4 plays, 70 yards for the Tiger Cats. How about 3 plays, 65 yards? It's been 7 plays total, and both teams end with 7.
And what's good about this drive, you get a big explosive first down, nice easy throw to Tim White on the outside. Get a run or two. put yourself in a position where you're flipping the field, and then the big explosive play to Nick Dembski. Obviously, Dembski just so good at playing a number of spots. You can give him speed sweeps, you can put him inside the slot. He was just blocking on the previous play, trying to block a defensive end. So multiple receivers, that's what you want, guys who can do a number of things. Tommy Neal's another guy that the Bombers today.
We got a track beat, partner.
Yes, it's good.
32 years old, Nick Dembski, and that's his 43rd career touchdown. He's also inching close to 500 career catches. Only 18 Canadians have ever done that in the history of the CFL. He sits now about 2 shy of that mark. The last to do it, by the way, with 500 career catches, some guy named Andrew Harris. Finished his career with 609 catches. With an opportunity to respond to the response as Isaiah Wooden hits a speed, flag flies. Heavyweight
double move
out here in the first quarter.
Double move on the outside. Get Jonathan Moxley looking in the backfield. What happens? You flip the field and a touchdown happens 2 plays later. And then what does Zach do? He brings his own explosive play, leads to the touchdown. He sees the coverage, misaligned, recognized immediately, throws it immediately, and that's off of a big explosive play to Tim White to start the drive. So both teams starting to
Plenty of work to be done for the Black and Gold with 27 seconds remaining in this first quarter. And how about a couple of Canadian receivers as well, some of the best in the entire country. Nick Dembski and DeAndre Smith into the end zone in the first quarter, and you just know that there's plenty of other names out there watching right now on Thursday Night Football with the CFL and TSN thinking they want their shot to enter the conversation. Mitchell high on his tippy toes, looking over the top. It's Kenny Lawler, and just missed him at the 55 as Lawler peeks over his shoulder at Dietrich Nichols and knew he had him.
A little bit of downfield double move. You watch him, he's gonna run up, the halfback cover him, he starts to lean inside, and then he goes, I'm gonna break all the way across the field. So Dietrich Nichols is in a tough position because he's inside. This is great protection because this play takes a lot of time. Bo just misses it a little bit. You can feel that he missed that.
Hamilton getting the most zone of any team in the CFL last year, 75%. Scared of man coverage on Kenny Lawler. That time they miss against zone as this pass hauled in by Myron Mitchell. Makes the grab out at the 20-yard line. It'll be a Hamilton first down, a well-earned one on target. Pitch and catch from Bo Levi Mitchell to Myron Mitchell. But what a start we got here in Manitoba. It's the home opener. They sold the building out once again, and the quarterbacks are delivering early on. As plenty of action remains here from the Peg. Plenty of energy here inside Princess Auto Stadium, and our new Winnipeg bureau chief, her first game covering the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and we threw her right into the middle of the fray. Where is Danielle Payne?
You guys, it's my first game. I had to experience Winnipeg's largest nightclub, so where else would we be than the Rum Hut? But I do have to say, it might have been a mistake bringing the Milt Stiegel up here because we could barely get through the crowd without this famous guy. What are the vibes like, Milt?
Oh, they're great. This is special. Every single team needs to try to duplicate this because this is special. I don't drink, but I think you have someone who drinks, right?
Do you hear that? What? Kate?
Oh.
Should be working on the panel. Well, guys, I can report the vibes are high at the Rum Hut.
Thank you, Danielle.
Do you think, let's just, maybe our producer, could we call the game from the Rum Hut? What with the, get a couple rums and just get us a ladder or a chair? We can stand up.
Round.
Amazing job the Bombers have done with this. They have a DJ at the end of the game so people can go out on the football field and throw around it while people get out of the stadium.
This place is what CFL football should feel like. first play of the
You know, the Ticats threw the ball deeper than any team in the CFL. You see Moxie here. He's running the out. This is called a wheel route. It's an out and a wheel route. So out wheel, Moxie's in a good position. He keeps running, looking back. There's a little bit of play. Good by the refs. Keep their in the pocket. Forcing the 2nd and 10.
And amongst all this, we haven't said the name Jake Serezna yet. At a career-high 3 sacks in week number 1 as Mitchell protected to get things going. Myron Mitchell waiting for it. Did he make the grab? They'll say yes. Spotted just shy. Officials talking it over to confirm.
And you're seeing Myron Mitchell kind of look to his sideline to tell his coaches, hey, if you want to go with tempo and go with speed in case this is not a catch. But the problem is this is not a first down. It's a 3rd and 1, so it's a bigger decision. Needs a little bit more time. That's why. And they need to probably try to change their personnel. So that's why you see this happen.
You have control right there. Yes. Wow. We'll go for it on 3rd and 1. The right-hand side in the big frame of Dola Gala. Gonna need all of that 6'7" to get the first down. And they will move the 6.
Stay on side, get lower. Offensive line, get low, keep your feet moving. A little bit of pause by Jake and then fall forward for the first.
Layers was almost there, got first contact.
You know, the Bo Levi Mitchell taking some shots. Now, what we understand, deep ball offense last year, 118 deep shots, first in the CFL. You really want to make sure that, like, you mix in those, but don't put yourself in too many of those 2nd and long situations.
Hand off, jump cut through the middle of traffic, and again, Liam Dobson, the former Winnipeg Blue Bomber, getting the start at center here tonight, following that left-hand side of the line with Brandon Revenberg right there in the mix as well.
And you did see the change up front, like you just said about Liam Dobson. Watch Liam Dobson here. He moves the defender over him to give Roundtree that opportunity. You want to keep going, pressing the hole, and when the defense displaces, you cut right behind it and get north-south for yardage. Good movement at the center position.
Another former Blue Bomber, Chris Kolinkowski, expected to be the starting center, but out with a groin injury. The 34-year-old watches on here, and a depth roll is right down the hash. Hitting it with speed is Larry Roundtree III.
Little bit different picture, but kind of doing the same thing. Widening is what we call an outside zone play, where you go outside zone and then let all the defenders run, and then I'm going to cut back behind. Roundtree's nice and patient on that. And 2nd and 3 to get big gain for the first.
Max Mang, the big German, is in at tight end for the Tiger Cats, who work the silent count against this crowd. Complete, and Roundtree hoping he could wriggle his way away from the outstretched arms of Tony Jones, who enters week 2 as the CFL co-leader with 8 tackles and was one of just 3 players with 100 or more defensive tackles in 2025, with Micah Awe and Darnell Sankey, who gets underway with the BC Lions against Saskatchewan this week.
Yeah, Tony Jones, the players love talking to the coaches. They just love everything he brought to the table last season. Fast, aggressive, and as you say, can make tackles all over the place.
That guy loves football. When he filled in a middle linebacker admirably, they fell in love with him as Mitchell looks right, comes back left, and completes. And that is Curly Gittins Jr. making the grab. Has had himself a couple of catches in the opener last week against Montreal, and back on the stat sheet here.
So there is more pressure from the Bombers. So the Bombers are trying to disguise what they do and then continue to drop out into these zones. And there are just some of these holes in the zone. Curly Gittins Jr. is in a good position to know, hey, I'm just going to settle and turn around. Bo can see those players dropping out and know where their spots are. So good by Curly Gittins Jr. 50 yards last week on 7 catches. Still being active in the offense.
Levi Mitchell stands in tall, has time, and it's complete. Chopping down Keandre Smith. but not until he's inside the 30-yard line. And once again, the Mitchell to Smith connection that had the touchdown earlier has the Tiger Cats moving.
So this is what I would call a dig, and then you return. We bring it back out to the sideline. You're trying to tell the defender who's coming to me to, hey, you stay in there, and then I'm going to work to the sideline. It picks up enough space for Major Williams to corner, and it keeps the defenders from expanding to you. Nice execution on the dig return route.
Mitchell, the two-time Grey Cup champion, two-time Grey Cup MVP. He loves playing in environments like this with the noise. As he pulls it this time, looks to throw or run, and he does rip it complete. Myron Mitchell on the receiving end is just in a rhythm right now, playing free, having fun, pump faking, running around.
Zone read, watch Willie Jefferson. If Willie Jefferson closes in on Bo Levi Mitchell, you don't expect him to pull it often. And the other reason that's really good is if you have a blocker, Willie Jefferson's going to close. That gives him time to get on the outside. And Evan Holmes in a bind because it's just too much time. And then the receivers, Mitchell's just waiting to find the space and get the pickup.
Let's look up front from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Will they send it? They do. Inside handoff, clunky operation from the very start for the Tiger Cats. And Winnipeg all over with Retta Cramby.
So Retta Cramby, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You're not going to be able to block them all. Okay, you're going to end up blocking them in here. Retta Cramby's free. He's coming right to the quarterback and the running back. Cramby's unblocked at the point of attack. You're either going to have something built in where you throw it, or somebody's got to add in one of the receivers to block that edge. Jordan Younger, hey, he's tired of all those completions. I'm going to change it up. Here comes the pressure.
Clear message sent. Now what can Hamilton do on 2nd and 15? Mitchell with pressure, steps up in the pocket, pumps. Bo's going to use the wheels. Oh, Mitchell reaching the football for the first down marker. And at 36 years young, Bo Levi Mitchell, he doesn't use them often, but when he...
Last year, Bo did some things where he was using his legs when he needed to. Hey, I can't see the picture. I'm just going to take off and run. And if he has 6 of these in a season, if he just extends 1 first down with his legs a game, that is huge for an offensive unit.
Last week, Mitchell going over 300 passing yards for the 60th time in his illustrious career. 8th most all-time and first amongst active players. This time uses his legs. And now he'll go back to the arm, flips it underneath. Max Bang! Welcome to the CFL and welcome to the end zone, 82.
When you have a good run game, you make people think about other things. Here's our tight end. Retta Cramby has to cover the tight end. Now, watch what happens. It's a fake run. Now, Retta Cramby has to run all the way across the field into the backfield, and then the ball is thrown outside. So, very good execution of conflict of assignment on the Sam linebacker, the strong side linebacker. So, really good touchdown by Max Mang, first-year player from Syracuse, the Orange.
I believe Bo Levi Mitchell is what the kids call in his bag right now. There's not much he can do wrong.
He has a scramble, he's got plays.
Max Mang.
It's a pretty cool name, Max Mang. Could be like a superhero or an evil person.
Can't chop the big man down. He reaches the end zone and Hamilton leads. Levi Mitchell continues to control the tempo of this game and of the early Tiger Cats season. When he's at his best, they are moving it like this, and what a drive that was.
14 plays. Don't forget, this drive started on the 8-yard line. 14 plays, 102 yards, took 7 minutes off the clock, and some clutch catches down here, and then Bo Levi using his legs and just staying on the field. When you can run a lot of plays as an offensive coordinator, you can open up your whole pass game, and here you see Max Mang getting in for the touchdown. So flexibility of play calling comes with staying on the field, being able to call all your stuff and Rolodex through all your plays to create issues for your defense.
Again, Bo, high completion percentage, just like he had the opener against the Alouettes, and also up there around halfway to a 300-yard game for the 61st time in his career as Robert Panabaker down the field with the special teams tackle on Trey Vavel. Well,
you're up, Zach.
It's back to Collaros as the world turns.
Wow.
The global phenomenon is back for a thrilling new season, and the war for the Iron Throne is about to ignite. HBO's House of the Dragon streams June 21st only on Crave. It's like a bit of a sword battle right now between a couple of veteran quarterbacks here, Princess Autos. And what rain! Yeah, those clouds have cleared away. The fur jackets are out tonight for the Strevy retirement celebration.
We could have had Cortland State if the defense was on, the Red Dragons. Jake Serestan, sorry.
Crowd D3 right here with Paul Lapalisse as Collaros flips underneath and completes. It is Brady Oliveira. Nice design on this one, Lapo.
Yeah, let's talk about a shovel play. Oh my goodness, love it. You got a shovel. So what do you do when defensive ends come upfield when you're doing the zone read? You do a shovel play right inside. Take a look at this here. So as the defensive end goes, oh, I'm going to go get the quarterback, you throw it right back to Brady where he vacated. So I love seeing these shovel plays. Don't see him often. Montreal does it every once in a while. But good execution, good game planning here by Tommy Condell.
Dealer's choice as well. Do you prefer to go left-hand flip or right-hand over?
Like to go to the right.
That time Zach goes right-hand over, and it works. As now Collaros into the hole. Tommy Neal sitting down comfortably. And 83 completely on the same page with his quarterback when it comes to zone coverage here tonight.
And a little bit, a little bit of heavy play action when you watch this end zone shot. You see all these, we've got a tight end over on this side, and it's a deep, like call it a shark route. It's a bite route where it comes back to the quarterback from 15 yards deep. Easy picture, easy pocket, throw the ball, get the completion, flip the field.
Tommy Neal, 6'3", 212. Route running on display here tonight. Brady Oliveira stacked up.
The Ticats have done a good job this game so far on Brady. Brady's only averaging about 3 yards a carry. Last year, that was an issue for the Ticats. Defensively gave up 111 yards per game last in the CFL. So certainly Brady Oliveira had to be their thought process for the defense coordinator there, Brent Munson. Why did they get first place last season? Because when Brent Munson came into the building, they went from last in turnover margin to first. They took the ball away better than any team in the Canadian Football League.
Bombers 6 of 9 converting on 2nd and 7+ last week against Calgary. We'll see what they do here. As Collaros, deep drop, now steps forward in the pocket, thought about dumping it off to Oliveira. Now he uses the legs. He reaches forward just shy of the 35-yard line. And Mike O'Shea points at Mike Miller, special teams coach, and says, well, we sent Castillo out for a little right foot action.
And a zone pressure, or no pressure, 3-man rush, dropping everybody out in coverage. You got 8 people in coverage. Zach's trying to find, where's my checkdowns, where can I go? But what the best thing Zach does is he knows, all right, I'm going to rush, I'm going to get as many yards as I can, because I know I'm not turning the ball over here. I'm going to make sure the field goal is kicked. How do I help Serge make this an easier field goal? Not that Serge needs any help, kick more long field goals than anybody in the league.
Plenty of leg as this one goes down.
I jinxed him. I'm sorry.
Off the mark just slightly. You can see Castillo leaning as soon as he put his weight into it. Said he was living the dream, hitting the game winner with his son, 5 years old, in attendance in Calgary last week. Well, this one a bit of a nightmare for Sergio. Hamilton leads by 4. Welcome back to Winnipeg. The Tiger Cats continue to lead 14-10, but they're playing on defense without one of their star starters. With more, here's Daniel Bain.
Thanks, Marshall. Jamal Peters is conscious and in good spirits, I'm hearing from Hamilton Tiger Cats PR. He is in stable condition and is en route to a local medical facility for further evaluation, so he won't be returning tonight. All our best wishes go to Jamal Peters, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Danielle. That's great to hear. Tiger Cats offense on the field after the Sergio Castillo missed field goal and a knockdown from Tony Jones, taking a page out of Willie Jefferson's playbook that time.
Tony Jones getting involved, in some of the naked bootlegs. He's going to come off and blitz off the edge. Now, what they're trying to do is get Keandre Smith to come across, and Bo sees it. He's trying to get the ball out. But Tony Jones is right there. Bo's going to try to change his arm angle. It's just so hard when Tony Jones blitzes and gets on top of him so fast as they try to get it to Keandre Smith underneath.
Another year in the Jordan Younger defensive system. You can feel like Jones is just playing that little bit quicker as Mitchell on 2nd and 10 will go over the top and running free down the field. Carrick Wheat ball, and did he use just the left? It's all he needed. The former Bomber spectacular.
Top of the screen, a little bit of a post move. Great recognition by Bo, understanding I got a one-on-one on the outside. Really good by him seeing that and taking the shot outside. Wheatfall makes a dynamic catch, one-handed also. As Mox is it. Good. Awesome play on the outside for Carrick Wheatfall.
All the Winnipeg Hamilton storylines coming in, I did not think we were going to be talking Wheatfall Moxie as much as we have in this first half, but what an intense battle they've had. Is now a timeout.
It's a 3-minute timeout.
Has been hit. No, it's a 3-minute warning. As Carrick Wheatfall, 2 catches, 47 yards each. He's got 94 big ones in his return to Manitoba.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
These fans are absolutely incredible in Winnipeg. 15 straight sellout games. So I thought I'd get into the action here with some of the fans. Excuse me, ma'am. Is this your first Winnipeg Blue Bombers game?
No, I'd say that I've been to my fair share of them over the years.
Okay, a couple of here and there, I understand. So tell me, how are you enjoying your game day experience?
Hey, look, this is the best game day experience around. No better place to spend a night during the summer.
And is there anything that you would like to tell the people at TSN?
Where to start? Specifically with the panel. Why am I not on the panel with Kate and company? I'll see you at halftime.
I know her.
The great Sarah Leske from Winnipeg.
That wasn't a random fan. It was the Sarah Orleski.
Nice stop here defensively. Can I just go back to a Sarah Leske story? My first time ever hosting a coach's playbook in Winnipeg. The panel was in the city the week before, so I thought the makeup person would be there for me, just me. They didn't, and our producer has to go, Sarah, can you go put makeup on Lapo? He has no makeup. So thank you very much, Sarah, for helping me with that years ago. I don't think anybody was happy I was on the sideline, and Sarah, I had to share hits with Sarah.
Also, SNL, we're coming for you. one sketch comedy at a time. Coming for the crown. Bo Levi Mitchell in the shotgun. Pressure on, looks over the middle. Tommy throw. Keandre Smith has it. Reaches to the end zone, and he has his second touchdown of the ball game for Keandre Smith. Had 5 all of last year and almost halfway there.
Don't give Bo Levi Mitchell a chance versus pressure. What you're going to see, add in protection. When 2 extra guys come in, that equals 7 players when you add the offensive line. Here comes blitz. What do? They pick it up to give him enough time to get the ball out of his hands. Bo knows it. He goes, as long as you guys pick it up, I'm going to hit Keandre Smith on the middle of the field. It's very difficult for defensive backs in what you call cover 0. 0 means no help, to be able to cover the outside breaking routes and the inside breaking routes. Keandre Smith and Bo on the same page, but the protection is what got him home.
Earlier on for the Tiger Cats, it was 4 plays, 70 yards in 2.5 minutes.
We're so different.
We're so different. Okay.
Now it's 4 plays, 70 yards, 30 seconds less time it took as Bo Levi Mitchell is on fire.
And you see how quickly Bo makes that decision. He basically gets the ball, takes 2 shuffle steps, knows it's 0 and know he's protected, and I'm getting the ball out of my hands, trusting Keandre Smith. I'm going to get him another play for a touchdown.
And right off the top, Labo, you brought up the fact that this Hamilton offense, they started with an aggressive install to this year, coming off 2 straight years of Bo Levi Mitchell throwing for 5,000 yards or more. He never did that in Calgary. In his prime, 2015 to 2018 in Calgary, it was 4,500 yards, 5,300, back down to 4,700, back up to 5,100. He's been at 5,000 plus back-to-back years, and they started camp, and Scott Milanovic told us this week, it wasn't, hey guys, we're 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left, here's what an inside run looks like. It's like, hey, you guys are either catching up to where Bo's mind is, or you're not going to make this team.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, he's got 5,000-yard seasons, but one of the biggest things they had to teach him is, hey, make sure when it's not there, check it down.
Right.
Make sure when it's not there, you go ahead and use your legs and take off and run. And that just kind of proves that, hey, you keep throwing completions. You never go broke when you put money in the bank as a quarterback. You keep getting completions. Sooner or later, first downs will happen. You'll get the shot plays you want.
Winnipeg trails by 11 here in their home opener in front of a sellout. There's excellent special teams tackle Antti Litre down the field, and Keandre Smith always reminding you that he's one of the best Canadian receivers in this league, and certainly punctuating that in the first half here tonight.
3 catches, 49 yards, 2 touchdowns. First one sitting in the zone, finding the space. Next one, cross-facing in cover 0. Go across the face of the DB, make him threaten the outside play, but go in front of him, be in a position to catch the ball, run into the end zone. So great start for Keandre this season.
Zach hands it off. By the way, Bo Levi Mitchell came in ranked 8th on the Tiger Cats franchise passing yards list at just over 12,000. He entered tonight 61 yards back of his former teammate Kevin Glenn in 7th. Kevin, start of the first quarter, it was over. It was only 61 yards that he needed. So up into 7th on the Tiger Cats all-time list now in his 4th year with the black and gold.
Crazy, it's been 4 years, hard to imagine.
And to think that he only played 6 games back in 2023 before this 2024 through 2026 fire sale is now over the middle of Nick Dembski, and this might accelerate the Winnipeg offense.
This is the problem with playing great quarterbacks who understand how to beat zone coverage. It's going to be Nick Dembski here, and what I'm going to show you as you roll it, you're going to see linebackers expanding to get underneath. Nick's in a position where he knows we've spread the defense out. Zach sees it. That's called a bender route. He's going to just throw that bender as soon as he crosses that linebacker that is expanding and creating space by emptying the backfield. And again, when you can't play too much zone against these great quarterbacks because they're going to pick you apart. You got to mix up what you're doing.
Laros with only Dante Daniels, the big man rookie to his left. They'll fake the run. Zach punts over the top, complete. And for the first time, it's Pokey Wilson getting tracked down from behind. There's a big tackle made by Isaiah Bagna. But Wilson moves Winnipeg deeper inside Hamilton territory and trying to answer here once again.
You have a curl, you have a guy in the flat, you have a clear out. What you're trying, and the biggest thing that is good here is you have the opportunity to let the quarterback use his legs. So when these teams are moving the ball well, a lot of stuff comes out in the system. Tommy Condell's multiple, so is Scott Milanovic. So now defense has got to work all this stuff. Now here's a sprint out, get the ball downfield. Nice, easy first down on first down.
Laros makes the run inside over the top. Looking for Wilson, and dangerously hung up in the air. Stavros Katsantonis was there, but he caught it out of bounds. Stavros makes his case. Reggie Stubblefield says he had the best view of it as well.
So you can see a signal. Zach takes a shot on this throw on the outside. So he pulls this, tries to take the one-on-one. Looks like a sluggo on the outside. Zach gets hit as he's throwing it. But Stavros Katsantonis, like for Zach to make this decision to throw this, he's got to trust that the free safety's in the dead middle of the field. But watch Stavros run across the field to get involved and almost make a play. Great range by the free safety of the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Challenge is on deck here.
Hamilton is challenging that the previous play should have been a rule interception by Hamilton. And we will review the play.
You can see what's happening, the communication. So you have to build communication between your players and your coaches on, hey, I believe this should be challenged. So you have certain signals. Was this a catch or not, or was this pass interference? We used to always, we used to go ahead and tell our players, hey, grab your throat and pull down on your jersey on your throat to tell us if you want us to challenge. You saw a bunch of defenders coming back on. Here's the play up here on the catch for Stavros. You saw a bunch of players walking up and saying, oh boy, challenge. You saw them all grabbing their jersey and pushing it down. That's telling the coaches, we think you should challenge this. Here's the coaches for the Bombers taking a look.
Offensive coordinator Tommy Condell looking it over with James Stanley, as well as Richie Hall up there in the booth. And Mike O'Shea might have been having a discussion about potential defensive pass interference as well. Does he like to challenge the challenge if it does go against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers here with an interception being called?
Stavros Katsantonis, really good job on a run play with a double move on the outside, finding his opportunity. They're
going to go after Dvondrik Bynum, it looks like, for defensive pass interference.
Upon review of the play, the ruling on the field is overturned. It's an interception by Hamilton in goal. It's going to be first down for Hamilton at the 30-yard line.
And O'Shea did drop the challenge flag, and now it looks like they'll whistle. And yeah, the officials are letting referee Ben Major know that we have an objection to the objection. Is this a first? Can you remember a challenge of both sides on the same play?
Yeah, that's happened before. Sometimes out of spite, sometimes.
I think it's legitimate, though. This is an interesting challenge.
Yeah, this definitely could be.
For now, it's the first turnover of the ball game.
Winnipeg is now challenging that there should have been pass interference against Hamilton on the last play. This will now be reviewed.
Chestnut checkers, Lapo.
Dvondrik Bynum, we'll take a look and see what happened here. Did he get his hand in early? So you got a double move, so Bynum he's ended up behind. Now he's going. Does he get his hand involved? Is it enough for them to overturn this and make this a pass interference?
Great looks here from our CFL on TSN
Good patience
crew.
by Bynum.
Hand play back and forth both ways.
The end of it, there's a little bit of a grab on that hand, but I would assume this is not an overturn. I don't know if
for anybody watching this at home and saying, well, the ball was so far upfield, he could have never got to it. Does that play into the decision?
They never call that. They never care where the ball is, in my experience, but I don't think they want to put a flag down on this.
We have an announcement.
Upon second review of the play, the ruling on the field stands. There was no deemed penalty for interference. It's first down Hamilton on the 30-yard line.
I like that call, right? Let them play. Let them play the game. If you're putting flags down on all that hand play, that's going to be a long night. And it wasn't clear and obvious for. It wasn't clear and obvious no longer for the command center, for the replay center.
First turnover of the ball game is confirmed, and a handoff inside. Larry Roundtree the third, bounces off two tacklers and a third. And Roundtree winning the running back starting job at a training camp and making the most of it here on his first CFL road game.
Well, it comes down to the blocking on the inside. Watch this crease right here. Boom. And then I'm going to come all the way on the outside. Really good blocking on the perimeter to give you the opportunity on Max Mang doing his thing to give not only catches but also blocking.
Roundtree tripling Brady Oliveira's total so far in rushing yards. Keandre Smith adds another to the tally here in week number 2 for another first down. And the Hamilton offense last season, 134 points off turnovers. That was 34 more than second place Saskatchewan. They're back at it again.
Yep, quick throw to the outside, get out of bounds, stop the clock. Yeah, you need at least one more first down to get yourself 3 points. And can you in 39 seconds get all the way to the end zone?
Keandre Smith in conversation with Curly Gittins Jr. was, yeah, I know, I got it. As he went to the line of scrimmage, Mitchell loads it up. Garrett Weedfall running in behind coverage and has to play defensive back on that one. Knocking it away is Major Williams all over it.
Yeah, Major Williams in the deep part of the defense, already deep. That's a hard one to just throw it up for when Williams is already deeper than Weedfall. Weedfall actually does a good thing trying to knock this ball down to prevent the interception. Good high point after it, but Williams is in a deeper position because he dropped out of the zone early.
Crowd gets into it here with 32 seconds remaining. Larry Roundtree III is checked out. Johnny Augustine, undrafted out of Guelph, played some time here in Winnipeg in behind Brady Oliveira, is in the backfield with Mitchell. Bo looks to throw. Weedfall floating through the air. And another incredible back and forth battle between Wheatfall and Moxie.
Great concentration by Wheatfall. This is a throw to the wide side of the field. So Jonathan Moxie is the wide side corner. He has plenty of time to see this ball in the air and run it down, but Wheatfall knows there's going to be a collision. Bo puts it out there early, but it's a good catch with contact by Carrick Wheatfall. And again, that's what you want. That completion right there. It doesn't get the first down, but it gives them this opportunity for this long field goal on the road at the end of the half.
Long field goal here from Mark Leggio. 6 missed field goal returns last year for Trey Vavel. 65-yard return average, including a 128-yard return touchdown. He doesn't want to see the uprights go to the back of the end zone because he loves that this is 1/3 of his job. Will he get a chance to touch the football? He will, but only after it goes through the uprights. What a shot from Mark Leggio at the end of the first half.
Really good execution, obviously, by the kick team. You see McCarthy right there, Leggio. But the best thing is offensively and situational football, there is 3 seconds left in this. So the Ticats took the ball, drove down the field, took all the time off the clock, and got in position to get a score. Leaves the Bombers no time at all to be able to mount and get points at the end of the half. So really good execution by Scott's team.
It's interesting as well, just looking at situationally here. Obviously, Winnipeg get the football first. You would expect to come out to start the second half, but this does not feel like a 14-point gap between these two teams because the intensity in the back and forth. Brady Oliveira has been slowed. Zach Valaros has thrown the interception. So tangibly, yes, Winnipeg falling behind, but you get the sense in the second half.
Yeah,
this is
one of the reasons, Marshall, is that interception for the Bombers. What happened in field goal range. So took points off the board.
As that will do it for the first half of action. This is a good one to kick off the 3-game slate in week number 2. They will retire to the dressing rooms for now, get on the whiteboard, talk it over with the coaching staff, and sort out adjustments coming into the second half, and plenty to do for the Bombers defense dealing with this man.
15 and 19, 3 touchdowns, 79% completion. Really doing an excellent job using his legs, taking what the defense is giving him. When they blitz him, he gets the ball out of his hand. When they're playing zone, he's finding the underneath throws. And when he has to use his legs, he's used his legs. Spreading the ball around to all his receivers and just keeping his offense on the field. There's a 7-play drive that started at the 8-yard line, Marshall. That gives the opportunity for their defense to be fresh and then go make their plays. Keandre Smith, we saw 2 touchdowns in this game. So really good. Fired up Bo Levi Mitchell.
And you see Bo Levi Mitchell refusing to actually go to the locker room as he's sitting there on the tablet, working his way through the homework.
Do you think he's watching House of Dragons maybe there? Or
I think he's looking over the fact that last year he led the CFL in attempts, completion, yards, and touchdowns with a CFL best 36. And a little sideways look from Bo as he knows that he really wanted to get something else into the end of that half. We'll throw it down to Kate and the panel here for halftime.
All right, thank you very much. Alongside Enoch Mwamba Davis.
The numbers after the first half of play here in Winnipeg is the rushing yards leaning the way of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. A little bit surprising, but a back and forth battle with the quarterbacks as you would expect. That turnover looming large as well. Tommy Neal is in his first half making a big impact for Winnipeg and so close to getting a touchdown as well, just off his fingertips.
Yeah, 4 catches, 76 yards for Tommy Neal. And, you know, early in this game, that's who Zach threw to. The first 3 completions of Zach were to Tommy Neal. And just showing the ability to do really good things. A couple of shots underneath into the zone. And now we have, let me throw down to the sideline with Danielle with Tommy Neal.
Tommy, 4 receptions for you, over 70 yards. How is that chemistry coming along with Zach?
Yeah, just trying to take it one play at a time. We've worked well together at training camp, and in the first game, just trying to build off that.
What do you guys have to do here in the second half to kind of get things going offensively again?
Just stay on the field and finish drives.
Thanks so much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Tommy Neal into a rhythm with this offense, but more points needed on the board because I don't think there's any slowing down of that guy right here. And Zach Valaros knows it as he stares down the second half of the Tiger Cats defense. The Tiger Cats defense that he said on CFL.ca was one of the top 3 underrated ones in the CFL in his opinion, including Stavros Katsitonis as one of the most difficult defenders because He's so good at disguising looks and covering ground, and we saw that as Stavros got the interception off Collaros in that first half.
You know, March a little bit the game within the game. You know, the Bombers are 0 for 2 in the red zone. They have that interception, took points off the board. Ticats 2 for 2, scored touchdowns both times they've been inside the 20. That's probably the difference in this football game.
Absolutely. Opening kickoff, second half. As Trey Babel gets it handed to him by Michael Chris Ike, get a big special teams tackle. Braxton Hill.
That's crazy.
Back in the lineup.
Just let him catch the ball.
Yeah, let it roll to him, but Braxton Hill happy to oblige as he goes to his starting position on defense after making the special teams tackle.
I don't think this is a new play, but hey, you take it. Aren't you the best player? You're the best special teams player in the league. You get the ball. I'll just go behind you and watch.
It took a Chris Ike bounce. What was he supposed to do?
Yeah, it went right to him. Good for Chris.
Winnipeg goes back to work. Nick Dembski looks like he's getting them set on the line of scrimmage. Snap comes up. They'll try to get the wheels turning on Brady Oliveira early on. And right down the left side of that vaunted Bombers offensive line, but a flag flies in the back.
With an outside zone play like this, I think, especially with some pressure, we might get a holding call here. Whether it was on Stanley Bryant or not sure. I think they got to establish the run. 34 yards. Yeah, you know, for Brady, no, 22 yards on 6 carries, only 3.7 yard average, longest 7. Try to get something going, some explosive plays to Brady.
You know, Winnipeg wants to run the football. They want to win the game by running the football.
Illegal low block, Winnipeg number 83. We'll go back 10 yards. We'll replay first down.
The question becomes, when does the math start working against that in terms of having to throw it down the field as Tommy Neal takes the penalty?
An illegal low block. Tommy Neal's going to come in. He's going to be trying to block this defensive end. These are difficult jobs for receivers, and he's coming into the box, and he's like he has to be inside the defensive end so the defensive end can see him. When he comes outside in to make that block and he goes below the knees, that's going to be called an illegal block for that. He's got to get closer in front of the defensive end so the defensive end can see it happen.
Neal just 10 yards away from his career high with 86 yards as catch is made by Nick Dembski, thrown backwards by Braxton Hill once again. But as Neal sits 10 yards away from a career high, he cost them 10 yards there and backs them up. First and 20, gain of 6 from Dembski. Now it's 2nd and 14.
Puts him in at least a position that it's still not too long of a throw. Good recognition by Zach, saying everybody's going on they're taking the deeper routes, take the underneath, get some yardage.
That catch number 499 of Nick Dembski's incredible Canadian Football League career. Surefire Hall of Famer. 500 looms large, and over the top, Boogie Wilson makes the grab. What a throw, layering it in from Zach Collaros past Ryan Baker and Talbert.
Throwing the football is all about timing and space. Run an underneath route, let the other 2 receivers clear everything out, get the high players, and then sneak Ontario Wilson back up at a different time. That timing gives a chance for the defense to lift. Zach recognizes it and throws this underneath ball. Started underneath, then went north-south. Great timing and execution by Ontario Wilson.
Ellie is in as a 6th offensive lineman. Here's Collaros has to dance away from pressure and now fades this one to Tim White, who signed with Winnipeg 2 days after he was released by the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and White picks up the first down as Collaros evades the pressure.
Good pressure by the defense, but Zach gets a feel for it. He sees pressure by Fox. As Fox starts to come in, he starts to move. A little bit of pressure actually on the left guard as he climbs the pocket. Great quarterbacks are always looking for the next throw. He sees Tim White coming across the field in that space. Too much time for Zach Collaros and company.
Tim White even looks fast when he's coasting in 3rd gear. Inside handoff, not going very far. Also started for the 3rd straight year did Tim White at Calgary. Did it the last 2 years as well with the Hamilton Tiger Cats. He wanted to play somebody else. I'm just not sure he knew it was going to be against his old team, the Tiger Cats, but here he is.
And, you know, really talked about, like, enjoying the process of coming here to Winnipeg. Loved the fans, thought it was really special to be around these fans, and really to be back with Tommy Condell was an easy thing for him because he knew the system and spent time with Tommy and Hamilton.
about this from the Bombers faithful? Packed house. Sellout for the 15th game in a row. They go dead quiet on 2nd and long. Back brings them to their feet for a moment, but now it's Julian Hauser, and the East Division most outstanding defensive player from 2025 gets home on Collaros.
Multiple defenders at the line of scrimmage. You got a bunch of guys here close by, but Julian Hauser starts to go in, and then he recovers as Zach goes to scramble. He makes an inside move. This is a twist. He's trying to pick the center, and then as Jack starts to climb the pocket, he falls off the center, recognizes Zach going. Julian Hauser really good, setting up the pick, but then also recovering to create the sack opportunity.
Isaiah Wood stands back if Sergio Castillo misses a second. Went off the uprights earlier, never in doubt on this one, but once again the Hamilton defense does an excellent job as a couple of defensive linemen standouts. Hauser and Seresna say hello to each other. Last week the Tiger Cats only had 1 sack. This, the first of 2026 for Julian Hauser. Larry Roundtree the third. 4 carries for 27 yards on the first drive in this ballgame. He had 8 carries for just 23 yards in week 1 against Montreal. You see the downpour there at the start of the game. That might have influenced the play calling just a little bit. Lapo, but the rain's starting to come down here once again, and the Hamilton offense on the field. You wonder if 37 is going to get some more love.
10 carries, 57 yards. So the best thing that Ticats done is they've stayed on the field offensively. That allows you to get other people touches. When you are 2-ing out, when you get a lot of 2-and-outs, or you're in second and long, your tailback's not going to get touches. So Bo and company have done a good job of staying on the field, allowing everybody to touch the ball. And that's why Larry Roundtree has 10 carries in the first half.
Saw Max Mang that had the touchdown in the first half as well, back on the field at tight end, bottom of your screen. As they will begin with a handoff inside, and the Winnipeg defense, just like they did last week against Dedrick Mills, shutting him down in the second half. They begin with an extremely positive defensive stand. Cam Lawson out of Queens in the backfield.
Cam Lawson's in there. You got Kyrie Wilson's also in a position where he's unblocked at the point of attack and is able to make a play on this outside run by the Ticats, forcing the second and extra.
Clock rolls inside, 10 minutes remaining here in Winnipeg. Week 2, kicking things off on Thursday Night Football. Marshall Ferguson, Paul LaPolice, Danielle Bain bringing it to you from a sold-out Princess Auto Stadium as Bo Levi Mitchell tries to check it down, and it looks like he was aimed directly at the feet of Curly Gittins Jr., just doing anything to get rid of that one and prevent a loss.
And a good defensive stop. The Ticats were checking at the line of scrimmage, trying to figure out, they were changing the call as they go, but this is one of the few times you've seen tonight. If you watch Bo Levi, he's looking to his right, can't find anything. He's now flipping across, going to his check down. And when you make a quarterback hold the football, the pass rush will get to him. One of the first times that's happened tonight.
Good job getting home that time. David Reese into the lineup at the defensive end spot opposite Willie Jefferson. And now Trey Babel gets the edge, gets a couple of blocks, flag flies. Way behind the play, Tyler Turnowski. Omnipresent on special teams, 88 there to make it, but Trey Babel continues to electrify this crowd as they continue to believe that one of these times 23 is going to break this game wide open for the Blues. It's the biggest World Cup in history, and it's happening right here at home, right in your backyard. Canada's first match at the 2026 World Cup, facing Bosnia and Herzegovina in Toronto tomorrow. Kickoff 3 Eastern, 2 Central on TSN, CTV, and Crave. Mexico 2-0 victors today over South Africa in the 2026 FIFA World Cup. As Mexico City just about exploded on the first goal they scored to open up the tournament at home, and Winnipeg ready to give Brady Oliveira some love as well. The rain drifting sideways here in Manitoba. It's been a very rainy, very windy week, and the running game maybe taking shape.
Gap schemes, what does that mean? You run people, you bring people over to one side of the field, and you separate the defense, and Brady finds the crease inside. Nice 8-yard run to start the drive, put in a nice second and medium. Keep getting the short yardage people out on the field in 2nd and 2.
Reggie Stubblefield made the tackle, said he watches Saskatchewan, Calgary, Edmonton to understand the schemes of some of the other great Sam linebackers in the Canadian Football League is short yardage. And they sneak it forward with Perkins for the first down as flags fly. I expect that's against the Tiger Cats defensive line, but Reggie Stubblefield.
Offside, Hamilton defensive line.
Said that he
will go up 5 yards.
Likes to watch whether it be a Darius Pickett, C.J. Revis, some of the well-known guys around the league as we see inside that 1 yard.
Definitely that's an offside.
Interesting to know that players are watching it going, yeah, we run a pretty similar scheme. How does that guy run that blitz?
Yeah, and you know, certainly we talked about Reggie off the top, like just harder for those players that sometimes you got to play in the box, sometimes you got to play coverage, sometimes you got to play coverage to the weak side, sometimes you got to play to the strong side. You have to recognize formations and get lined up. So very difficult job for those guys.
Laros fakes the run inside, and with the rain driving down harder, pressure supplied that time. Looks like it was Philip Osai. Yes, as you can see just how hard the rain is coming down.
Watch the recovery of Phil Osai on the zone read play. Zach pulls it thinking he can get around the defense, but watch this recovery. Zach has nobody to throw to the ball quickly, so he's got to get the ball out of his hand to prevent the negative yardage play.
Once again, leaves them with 2nd and 10. 8 sacks for Osai last season. Consistent force of pressure on the Tiger Cats front. Laros snap almost caught him off guard right into the face mask, and he tries to dance his way out of it, and he can't. Hamilton gets another sack, and I think Hauser's going to get at least part of it, maybe the whole darn thing.
Watch Philip here. You'll see him right here as he goes. Watch his move off the edge. Okay, he makes it, starts to make an inside move. And again, the biggest thing is a defensive lineman, as you're working towards your gap, you'll see the quarterback start to get antsy and start climbing the pocket. You just got to move inside and be in a position to make that play as he moves inside. Really good by Julian Hauser.
Well done by Isaiah Wooden to catch that one on the skip. The low line drive punt from Jamison Sheehan. Skipped into the waiting arms of the returner, and downfield to make the special teams tackle is Canadian Nick Hallett. As Collaros fighting his way through the conditions, and a Tiger Cats defense suddenly relentless with the pass rush. Levi Mitchell, after a very slow start to his Ticats tenure in 2023, has rocketed up the rankings here. As you see Danny Mack clearing away at the top of this ranking for franchise history. Mike Kerrigan, Bernie Filoni, Jeremiah Masoli. Joe Zuger is next up the list, but it's KG falling to Levi Mitchell here tonight.
Yeah, and you know, Kevin Glenn had a great career in this league. Process information, got the ball out of his hand. That's it. Played at a number of organizations, almost every team in the Canadian Football League for Kevin Glenn. It was a great achievement for Bo Levi wearing the black and gold.
Love that guy. Hope KG's doing well. One of the great people around the CFL, and long-time battler, as you say. Inside handoff goes for a gain of 3 or 4 here as the rain continues to fall. And just like Bo Levi Mitchell, you know, anybody who has the opportunity, the gift of catching a football from a professional quarterback. Remember the first time I caught a ball from KG? He barely put his arm into it, and it hit me like it weighed 20 pounds. And immediately I went, oh, that's what a professional quarterback throws.
Yeah, and when you saw that list, Danny McManus at the top of it, Kevin Glenn, those two guys were similar. The ball came out of their hands immediately. They processed information as fast as I've ever seen in Canadian football.
Eric Wheatfall, wrong side here before the snap, so he jets to the other way, and now they hand it off. Larry Roundtree trying to get around the edge, bounces off 3 tacklers, and it takes a 4th to finally bring him down. If Evan Holm wasn't there, Roundtree might have gone skipping down the sideline in front of the Bombers bench.
What a great run by Roundtree. And again, all this movement, when you're thinking some big pass plays coming up, because everybody's getting lined up. No, it's just a simple inside zone play. Larry bounces it outside. People are there for him, but he keeps his legs going, gets north-south, gets his shoulders turned, be able to make one miss and create this first down. This is all Larry Roundtree. I love it. Great run.
It makes you wonder as well, as he's down 30 pounds in preparation to come to the Canadian Football League. He's going to be running more routes. He needs to have his cardio in better shape, as is usual for players coming up. They ask, hey, what do I got to do to be successful up there? What kind of power would he have had 30 pounds heavier when you see runs like that? Anti-Litre in motion. As Mitchell looking at a ton of Bomber defender bodies out to his right. That's the direction they'll try to run, but wrapped up down the line of scrimmage.
You know, I think what an interesting thing, Marshall, that happened in our interviews with Scott this week as we see them moving the ball pretty well. Like they asked Scott had said that a couple of people around the building said, hey, you seem a lot calmer this season. He's like, yeah, I'm not yelling as much. I'm in a better mood because we've got the foundation. We've kind of avoided, you know, the guys know what to expect from me. I know what to expect from them. We got good leadership in the building. But I'm in a little bit better mood. Not all the time, he said.
Same conversation we have with Mark Killiman going into week 1, right? Year number 2. It's just it's easier when you have continuity. Throw to the outside. Myron Mitchell gets popped out of bounds by Evan Holm, just shy of the first down marker. But he did say after the Thursday Night Football loss against the Montreal Alouettes, he's like, I'll tell you guys this, it wasn't real fun to be around Friday morning. I ripped just about everybody in the building on Friday morning. I got it out of my system. We went back to work.
Mitchell gets a nice catch here on the sideline. Bo Levi, you just can't stop these. When he throws it on time and with rhythm, right? Some of the best things about Scott Malavich's offense is how quickly the ball can get out of your hands in their quick game pass game.
Gala in for short yardage, hot step, leans to the right, and on 3rd down and 1, just across the Bombers' 55, he does pick up the first down yardage.
Massive bodies in there. We got a bunch of guys trying to sort that out and figure out where that spot is for that first down.
And it is a first down for Hamilton. Get a look at it here from our great crew down the line in the rain.
Got rid of Cramdy right there on the edge.
Never in doubt. Again, Chris Kolinkowski, despite the fact he's not starting, he is on short yardage and some of these extra offensive lineman sets with Liam Dobson in center leading the way.
And what is really good right now is, like, as an offensive coordinator and a play caller, when you're moving the football, the entire offense is available to you. So you can go, I used to call it the Rolodex. How many things? Oh, I got to show them this now, show them this. That's what rhythm brings to your offensive system. And here's a rhythm play right there.
Is this one of the Paul LaPolice vaunted wrong way runs?
Well, you know, you're faking one thing and then you have an option. That's pretty late down your play call sheet. And then when you're like, okay, we're moving the ball fine, you've got confidence to be able to call these. So this is a little bit of a zone read action. And then they're going to go ahead and fake this inside zone. But then it's actually a little flip play. We've got people blocking on the perimeter. We're pulling an offensive lineman, Quentin Barrow, to get outside, trying to misdirect. So first downs create creativity in your offensive system.
Barrow, in his 3rd year at Grand Valley State, joins another former Grand Valley State offensive lineman, Brandon Revenberg, former 3rd overall pick in his 11th year with the black and gold. His flags fly this time. DeAndre Smith for now has the first down. And we'll clean up the laundry.
I think we're going to see Curly Gittins Jr. with an offsides here.
Offside, Hamilton,
hard
number
count.
7. We'll go back 5 yards. We'll replay 2nd down.
At the top of your screen. All 2-4. Let's see all the way to the top. That little motion there. Oh yeah, that's way offsides. When you have the waggle, you always, I know you have to clear out for underneath routes, but you've got to have a little bit of depth on your waggle with the motion.
Mitchell adamant walking down the field to have a conversation with a couple of his receivers despite the completion. Work to be done on that play in Mitchell's mind. They'll empty it out 3 by 3. And Levi completes. Kenny Lawler on the receiving end. Tackle made by Major Williams, but at the sticks on 2nd and long. Mitchell to Lawler.
Can I do a little, like, here's what I'm just going to say. Just watch Kenny Lawler, this whole process. Just watch his hands. So the ball's on the way. He sees it quickly. He knows the ball's coming. Both throws it early. Kenny has no problem finding this, tracking it in the air. One of the best at seeing the football into his hands in the Canadian Football League. Just love his ability to do that.
And even when he's not having a massive night, you can just feel the gravitational pull of 89 and everything that the other defense has to do. Is Larry Roundtree, the 3rd, gets stacked up on a short gain. One of the true breakout games for Kenny Lawler was September 27th, 2019, his 12th Winnipeg game. 10 targets, 10 catches, 144 yards against the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
I guess I called some of those plays.
Yes,
I don't know.
did.
I don't remember.
I wondered, I went into the archive. Okay, so when was the next time he had a bigger game? in his CFL career than 144 yards. I didn't have to go far. 2021 Week 9, 14 targets, 12 catches, 205 yards. When he is on, there is no stopping Kenny Lawler. Mitchell looks away from him this time. A host of other receivers ready to go to work. Myron Mitchell makes the grab short of the sticks. Looks like it'll be about 3-4 yards, and it's enough.
So from a quarterback position, we did keep talking about Kenny Lawler. Well, there's 4 receivers over here to the right, and Kenny's off to the left. Well, defensively, they put 2 people over on Kenny Lawler, and that's going to leave them 1 short to this multiple receiver side. Quarterback sees it pre-snap because of the alignment of the formation. Myron Mitchell's open in the curl. Bo Levi puts it right on him for a nice 9-yard gain.
Much better spot than I expected after he got tackled backwards. So Dolagala leans to the right-hand side, and better push that time from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers defensive line, especially the left side. But Dolagala, so difficult to stop in those short yardage situations.
Of us, we got Reddick Cranby trying to get involved in this play and everything, and like we talked about, Osh talked about how aggressive Reddick Cranby is, how smart he is as a football player. I'm gonna try to show a play about Reddick Cranby is one of those guys who has to play sometimes in the box, sometimes around the ball. You saw him right there close, because the Bombers are going to move their free safety sometimes right to the end of the line of scrimmage, sometimes he's going to play in the box. A lot has to be done by Reddick Cranby.
Mitchell with a blitz on, single coverage outside. Kenny Lawler hanging in the air, and it skips away. Don't often see that. But Kenny Lawler on the final play of the 3rd quarter, an opportunity to extend the Hamilton Tiger Cats lead, but it falls to the turf. Major Williams there in coverage. These 2 teams both having their season ended in 2025 by the Montreal Alouettes. All that matters tonight is getting the victory here to kick off Week 2. What a great ball game to get week number 2 in the CFL going, as it is a tight one. The Hamilton Tiger Cats leading, and you can see there some of the rushing numbers still leaning heavily towards the black and gold. But I mean, it is back and forth at this point, and you'd love to see the way that Bo Levi Mitchell is attacking, but Kenny Lawler, he'll take a shot to him at any opportunity, like he just did a minute ago. Yeah,
and you know, we'll see Hamilton challenged to see whether this is pass interference, and we'll see on Major Williams. We'll see what happens on this challenge. This pass out here in the 1-on-1. So this is a 1-on-1 situation. What I was kind of talking about earlier is like, this is the first time in a 4-by-1 set, 4 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, that they played man-to-man. And as soon as Bo Levi Mitchell sees that it's man-to-man, he's like, I'm throwing to my guy. I'm going to throw to this until you put 2 people. Now, if you look at this shot from the all 24 look, there's nobody over on that side of the field. It's just a 1-on-1 situation. So that's all Bo's looking for. As soon as that shows up, he's taking it 100% of the time, and he does. He's got a big target who can go up and catch the football. A few drops, but you see the chess match between the defense of Jordan Younger and Scott Milanovic.
As the challenge was in place, and we have an announcement.
Hamilton challenged the previous play for defensive pass interference. After review, the ruling on the field is overturned, and we do indeed have pass interference against Winnipeg 24. It's going to be first down for Hamilton at the 1-yard line.
They'll put it at the 1 to open up the 4th.
Brutal penalty here, because the ball does get placed at the 1 when this PI happens in the end zone. Just going to say that Major Williams brought him down a little bit too early before the ball was there. He was there before the ball.
Williams confused.
Now you're going to go to your short yardage game, cover all your edges, and call for it for a yard, get an easy score.
And we'll have to see if Reddick Cranby gets down into a 4-point stance like he did
last week.
Back against Calgary at the very last second when they weren't lined up properly. Dolagala finds a hole to the right-hand side and punches it in. Hamilton extends their lead to open up the 4th.
The difference, this Ticat offense has been able to stay on the field no matter what the Bombers are trying to bring. Bo Levi Mitchell has been able to create first downs. They've been able to run the football, throw a lot of different things at this Bomber defense. pass interference is a crucial, difficult penalty. You know, you're going to end up kicking a field goal there, but then that gives you the penalty, ball in the end zone for the automatic touchdown from there.
Leggio as a flag flies. Knocks the extra point through. By the way, in 2025, the red zone touchdown percentage for the Tiger Cats was 57%. They were 30 touchdowns on 53 opportunities. So far this season, 7 of 8. They are hitting an 87% touchdown when they get inside their opponent's 20-yard line.
We have a legal formation against Winnipeg. They had 7 defensive players on the left side. This is a 5-yard penalty that's going to be applied on the ensuing kickoff.
Let's go back to take a look at that touchdown. So you're basically covering every edge. Jake Dolegala is going to find the crease. Why do you go off tackle? Why do you go a little bit farther? Because you put as many people as you can right over the center and the guards. So you widen it out a little bit. Just find the first crease, fall forward for you.
And it's not pretty, and it won't be celebrated. But right at the point of attack, aside from Quentin Barrow, the right tight end, the 6th offensive lineman, Chris Kolinkowski, who spent 5 years here in Winnipeg, basically lunging his way forward and taking all of his weight and clearing the right side of that offensive line. As you see, the first person to help up the quarterback in the end zone is Kolinkowski onto his feet there, big 67.
Yeah, and then you see those guys, and now how about this celebration a little bit? They got something going.
Oh, they gave it to Chris.
And then he didn't know, what do I do with it? Do I have the ball?
Get over
you
here.
Want me to have it? Tries to spike it. Now they're all watching. Pretty cool to see the big man open out. Jake Dolegala doing a good job for this short yardage team in the last couple of weeks, last 2 weeks.
Who was it that had the whiff on Thursday Night Football last week? The lineman that did the back line and the ball didn't come with? I think it was a balk officially. But
a lot of reps like that. Milt Stiegel used to bring all the receivers into a meeting room just to practice what their touchdown celebration was doing. And I one time said to Kahari, I'm like, what are you guys doing? Are they going over their last meetings? And they're like, no, he's going over his celebration that he's going to do after he scores a
Illegal
touchdown.
kickoff out of bounds.
Like, oh, okay.
Hamilton 33.
At least he does it together. At least they're on the same page for the celebration.
And despite the 31-13 lead, that lack of execution from Mark Leggio will not make Scott Milanovic happy as he goes back to the tablet. By the way, I did notice here on the way in today that gate number 1 is a very large picture of Milt Stiegel holding up the number 1.
Yes.
Making your way into Princess Auto Stadium. Beautiful venue, and despite some of the rain coming down here and there, a beautiful night for CFL action. And again, another sellout in this incredible city and province when it comes to their football team that they love so much. Is over the middle. Tommy Neild adds to his total, and that'll be enough for a new career high for Tommy Neild.
So really good. Like, the problem in this part of the game now for the Bombers is they're going to have to go with speed. They're going to have to go with tempo to get back in this game, but you're going to have to throw the football. So they got to do a really good job of mixing up their play calling, because you've got 4 defensive linemen are going to rush the passer and not care about the run. Something that, you want to do against Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Make them one-dimensional, make them throw the football.
15 yards for Tommy Neild as Zach Claros operates at the line of scrimmage against a 4-man rush. About to get hit, he does, by Kendricks, and now it's Stubblefield in a wrestling match with Nick Dembski. And Dembski's on his feet with the football in his hands. The flag is out, but who hooked who?
Yes, is it defensive pass?
Offensive pass interference, Winnipeg number 10.
Or offensive
This is a 10-yard penalty, and we'll replay first down.
So it looks like Dembski. So this is a corner route to the corner of the end zone. Stubblefield's outside position. So as Dembski's going up to try to make the play, he pulls Stubblefield down. I don't think it by accident. Dembski makes the huge catch, but that he was on the collar, pulling back, creates the huge penalty off the amazing catch by Nick Dembski on the ground. But it's in the right call.
Yeah, lost in all of that is just the 10 out of 10 degree of difficulty to be sliding down in wet conditions and
catch it, get up,
track the football.
You always coach your receivers like, we want the PI, yes, but we'd rather you catch the ball and score. So that was a great play by Dembski. Just can't do that what he did to start.
1st and 20. Will Zach just try to get half of it back? He dumps it down underneath. Oliveira puts a shoulder down. He'll get more than half.
So good. And you still got to keep Oliveira involved in your system, even though you're throwing the football. This is a good thing to do. You know everybody's going to drop out in 2nd and 20. Make yourself an easy completion. Let him get his shoulder square and get down and create 2nd and medium.
Saw Stanley Bryant supplying the block that time, and Patty Neufeld, his right guard, said Stanley unquestionably the greatest offensive lineman to ever play in the CFL. 4-time most outstanding offensive lineman, only player to ever do that as he blocks for Collaros here on 2nd down. And underneath, it's Tommy Neal. Again, thought about reaching that football out, but there were plenty of Tiger Cats ready to swat at it.
Good recognition by Zach, seeing it's man coverage, and then going, all right, I'm going to take this throw on the outside as we come in. I believe that's what they're doing. As they come in, everybody runs inside breaking on the slant, throw it to the Bynum on the outside at the corner position. He's a little bit farther off in that spot. Quick decision by Zach.
Forward progress deemed to be enough for the 1st down. And now referee Ben Major whistles it dead for a moment.
The video official has corrected the spot. It's going to be 3rd down. We're about 2 feet short of yards to gain. It's going to be 3rd down.
Based on the football being in behind him on that back left hip, I thought it looked a little bit short, but they originally gave it to him. We'll get a better look at it here.
Yes, and replay center, when I think as plays are rolling, they're going to try to check to see where this spot was. So they're not going to give the 1st down right there. Force the Bombers go on 3rd and short. You're going to have to go here if you're the Bombers. Down by this much.
Have to earn it the hard way. Perkins in, short yardage quarterback. He motions to Oliveira. And Perkins crosses the 40-yard line. It will be a Winnipeg 1st down.
So now for Zach, do his best to make sure you just keep getting rhythm throws. You're already in field goal range. So the biggest thing you can't hear, like you want to finish this drive with points. So it's real important here. With this, what this call is, that right now you're sitting on a 48-yard field goal. You're going to be real cautious on your quarterback's got to make sure, and you've got to, the play caller's got to make sure, don't do anything that the quarterback, that's too difficult for the quarterback in the read progression.
Hauser gets buried by Jarrell Broxton. The right tackle is underneath. Ontario Wilson makes the grab, and that will be enough for the Winnipeg 1st down. Reggie Stubblefield and Ryan Baker there to bring him down.
A couple of great blocks out. Take a look at the right side block, and I think Brady Oliveira also has some pressure that he's got to make a block for, helping out before he goes out. But watch Broxton right there knock Julian Hauser down to the ground, and Zach takes him.
Complete once again to Wilson. Destin Talbert there. Make the tackle as well. 2025, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, as they're on the edge of the score zone here, only had 107 score zone plays. Only Edmonton ran less plays inside their opponent's 20-yard line, as the ball rests right now at Hamilton's 23. And Zach, in order to get a 1st down, has to get inside that score zone as he looks at the right side of the line and works it only. Lone man at the bottom is Wilson. Catch, run, 1st down, deep inside Hamilton territory to the 5-yard line. On an island, and Pokey Wilson making easy work.
One-on-one, take the back. There's 5 players over here. 5 by 1 set, only 1 player. Take the slant, get the ball out of your hands quickly, let your player run with it. Good recognition to create the one-on-one matchup to Ontario Wilson.
Laro sends Dembski in motion, looking for that elusive 500th catch taken away by penalty earlier. Now Zach ripping this one into traffic. Wilson catches it, touchdown! Winnipeg has life.
The difficulties of trying to play zone coverage down at the goal line. because guys are going to sit in areas. This is no different than Keandre Smith did earlier in the game. Finds a hole in the zone that's in the end zone. You don't want to get picked in man, but sometimes when you play zone there, you're going to lead to that.
Ontario Wilson, special player for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers since arriving on the scene. Last year had himself 3 touchdowns, adds one here early in 2026. Touchdown drive for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. 8 plays, 65 yards. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers, as Tommy Neal got things going. Flying down the field, Zach Collaros on target. You felt he was very patient at times throughout that, but it was really all on Wilson, especially the final play.
Yeah, and you just gotta know, hey, you don't have to fight to get anything. They're going to give you underneath completions. Make your underneath completions. Get the ball down the field. Get your touchdown. A lot of football left to be played.
There's Wilson, listed at just 170 pounds. Took a big hit on the goal line, bounced off it, and was in the end zone. Or you could say Ontario. Running through arm tackles here is Isaiah Wooden on the return. And at this point, the game comes down to just how much can the Winnipeg defense do to get stops from Bo Levi and Mitchell. But this will certainly help. Collaros to Wilson into the end zone as Winnipeg trying to track down the Ticats. The Hamilton Tiger Cats, it is no secret that they have been slow starters over the last 5-6 years, of course, and they look to stop that 0-2 slide here tonight, losing to Montreal at home in their opener just a week ago. The last time that they had a win in one of their first 2 games, at the very least, back in 2019. So Scott Milanovich believing that they really should have won against Montreal. I'm sure the Alouettes are rolling their eyes hearing that for the 50th time this week.
They could finish off winning on the road at this spot. That would be a huge thing for their team. How much they've struggled to start the season.
Crowd at full throat as they begin with a handoff inside. Larry Roundtree the third with a rugby ruck rolling its way towards the 45-yard line. Won't quite get there. Also important to factor in September 27th of last year when Hamilton came in on a 3-game winning streak.
I got to talk to you about, we got a wham play, and what you'll see is you're going to free up a player and you wham him when he comes across. So watch this. The offensive line going to let a player come free, bang! Then you're going to go ahead and wham him. Max is there, Max Bang to go get the block to create a separation. Let him get upfield. We're going to block you, then get north south for 6 yards. I love saying wham on the air, buddy. Wham! They don't call wham blocks enough.
They go right back to Roundtree. Looks like he might have been stopped short. Good penetration on the offensive line, tracking down the backside. And not a big stat night here for Jake Serezna. The way that it was in week 1, you're never going to be on pace for 54 sacks in the season and hold up that end of the bargain.
And this is what Scott talked about. He didn't feel they ran the ball as well as they needed to last week. They felt they had to continue to go. Larry Roundtree last week, you already said it, 2.9-yard average. So, these things are good. And especially at this point of the game, you can't tell you how important it is that it's a 3rd and 1. Every time you get one of these 3rd and 1 situations, you're taking more time off the clock, with a short yardage play.
Olagala goes left this time, powers his way over the line as we reach the midway point in this 4th quarter. Hamilton holding on to that 11-point advantage. Mike Boucher actually talked about the fact that the 35-second clock rolling immediately, different than when it used to have to be whistled in, has basically meant that you can only burn 35 seconds. You can't burn, and then, of course, being being very specific, eye to detail, he said, well, you can't burn 47 to 53 seconds. It's 35.
Yeah, and how you understand that is previous clubs would wait to see you walk back. Yeah. So we used to tell receivers, hey, take your time walking back to the huddle. And every different crew made us started the clock a little differently. The league wants more consistency so they can know what the timing is going to be.
And off to the outside, Larry Roundtree the third, first down, and Morris turns it back inside, trying to stay in bounds, and the sideline loves it.
A lot of outside zone plays. And what does that mean? Everybody starts running on a course and then the back is going to go and he's going to read number 1 and then number 2. If 1 runs, I'm going to cut inside of 2. So as you watch, 1 runs, I cut up inside of 2. 1 and 2. Separate the defense, get everybody running on tracks, let Larry Roundtree find the space. He seems to be really good at these outside zone runs, and he even stays in bounds to keep the clock running.
Hand it off once again inside. Last year, albeit there's a lot of turnover in this Hamilton offensive line, considering that 3 of their bodies, Brendan Bordner, Coulter Woodmansey, and Jordan Murray, all went out to Edmonton, but they were averaging 2.4 yards before contact for Greg Bell last year when he was the lead back. And this group shuffled, shaken up, different names in different places, but still creating plenty of movement up front. And like you say, Lapo, sometimes it's that horizontal push as well to just keep people running and be on your tracks. Mitchell works the silent count on 2nd and long, pumps, gets away from the defender, pumps a second time, and then down to the turf he goes. Tony Jones.
Change to your defensive alignment. What can I do to make it harder for a defense? Well, how about taking Willie Jefferson and put him over Brandon Revenberg? Put him over the guards. Let him win. He wins inside. Bo has to move his feet, has to start climbing. Nobody's open. Creates the sack. Not a huge issue because we still think this is field goal range, but good execution by the Bombers, getting him off the field by putting Willie Jefferson in a one-on-one situation over the left guard for him.
Ray Babel stands back and watches this one once again sailed through the uprights. Mark Leggio on the money. Zach Collaros trails by a pair of scores here in the home opener in Manitoba. Zach Collaros in his 39th career 300-yard game, but will it be enough? Might have to get up above 400 in order to lead the comeback right now as full field in front of him, and despite having a tremendous outing, it looks as though Winnipeg needs a little desperation magic, perhaps, here in their home opener.
Yeah, this is going to come down to like Stanley Bryant, Gabe Wallace, Tyler Ellsby, Pat Neufeld, and Jarrell Jackson. Because this is, you know, they're going to be coming after you. They're going to rush 4 people, and they're going to play the pass the entire time. They're going to, Brent Munson's going to twist. He's going to do a lot of things to make it life difficult for this offensive line.
Regis Stubblefield shows blitz, bails out of it. Hamilton plays zone as Collaros will throw into it, and Tim White makes the grab. Destin Talbert there in coverage. First down on first down for the Blue Bombers.
That's what you want. I love that term. First downs on first downs. You got a little ISO Talbert on Tim White. Just a curl route into man coverage. Jack throws it on time. Going to be hard to stop.
Julian Hauser trying to fly off that edge. In tough against Stanley Bryant as Zach fades away from the pressure. Gets it away to Brady Oliveira. And maybe goes backwards half a yard. As Braxton Hill there to make the play, but pressure up front. You talked about it, Lapo, off the top of this drive. They're all over it.
Yeah, and then like this, what's so great about what Zach does here, just having the awareness is like, I just can't lose yardage here. So as long as I can get this ball out or make it an incompletion, we're still in 3-down territory. So great play by Zach into the second attempt.
Looks like a 3-man rush. It is as Collaros now with Julian Hauser in his face will rip it onto Brady Oliveira. Again, short of the stick, so now it's 3rd down. Got to go. Trailing by 14 points. Offense stays on to be 3rd and a healthy 4, 4.5, maybe 5.
Hamilton can easily play zone here, giving up an easy underneath. Normally 3rd and 5, you might be in more man coverage situations. Here you can play zone because they got to go a long way to score a touchdown.
And they won't get it in before we hit the 3-minute warning.
This is the 3-minute warning.
And a shake of the head from Mike O'Shea. That kind of night.
Would like to get that done already.
Would have been nice to have that snap off, but we'll come back with the final 3 minutes when we return. Bit of a miscue this time for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers as Mike O'Shea watching on and basically had a free timeout, get away from the Bombers under the new timing rules here.
Yeah, what happens is the clock is going to stop at 3 minutes no matter what happens. So you'd like to run one more play before that to give yourself an opportunity. The clock's going to stop after that play, so get that play so you don't have to burn a timeout and you just save more time on the clock.
They have one left, but a wasted opportunity for Winnipeg as Collaros goes to work on 3rd down. Needs to convert, knows it. That's why he hangs on as long as he possibly can and tracked down shy of the marker. Tracked down from behind as there is a flag on the far side of the field. But Mario Kendricks Jr. was the one in hot pursuit of Collaros.
Illegal contact on the receiver, Hamilton number 3.
Wow.
This is a 10-yard penalty. It makes it a 1st down for Winnipeg.
Bravian White has the flag go against him.
Why this happened? Because they're in man coverage and they're pressing at the line of scrimmage. When you're doing that, I don't see much of a penalty right there. But man coverage with 2 deep safeties, call it 2 deep man under, tends to get people grabbing when they're so pressed close to the line of scrimmage.
Fresh life for Collaros on offense here is play action. Then he'll flip it out to Oliveira. Braxton Hill gives chase. Bunks the former MOP out of bounds. Hill all over the place tonight after he missed week 1 with a calf injury.
You know, one of the things, go back to that, why the CFL has stopped the clock. The CFL used to go into the 3-minute and they would stop it after that play, because with the 35-second clock, you could push it all the way down to 2:30 something. So the CFL wanted more plays at the end of the game, so they said, no, we're going to stop it at 3 minutes.
Well, Peters injured early on in this game. Devondrick Bynum is defending Ontario Wilson on the left-hand side. That's where Zach goes, to that left side, but it's Tim White having it knocked away by Destin Talbert.
Destin Talbert does a spectacular job in man coverage. This is a difficult route to handle. Zach knew it immediately. This is going to be what you call a bench out route. The ball's a little late. Talbot gets his hands in just before it's there to be able to make the play.
Watching Tim White run that route from the low-angle camera, you get a sense of why he's one of only 2 active players with 4 straight seasons of 1,000 yards or more. The other is Geno Lewis, a short yardage in on 3rd and short, and Perkins rolls his way over the top of the pile. Collaros returns with 2:39 remaining, trailing by a pair of touchdowns here in their home opener.
2:39 left, so everybody's running off. You see Zach at the line of scrimmage. You can't waste a lot of time here. The clock will stop, but then it's going to start. As soon as it starts, they want to snap the ball.
Whistled in, snap comes up. Zach looks left, once again in the flats. Brady Oliveira with running room. And it's one-on-one with Braxton Hill, but Brady O gets required yardage and steps out of bounds, and Braxton Hill immediately runs over to Bynum. Having a heated conversation about covering down in the flats. Hill hot on that one, and Stavros Katsantonis had to come in and tell everybody it's okay, we got control of this, just calm down. Collaros take a shot here against a 4-man rush into the end zone and just past the outstretched arms of Tommy Neal. Bravian White, who had the flag, illegal contact a minute ago, they're in coverage.
Brent Munson's trusting his players to play a little bit of man coverage. This is just a comeback at the goal line. A little bit more man coverage than you would expect late in the game. Oh, this is the bite route where they start to run a corner route to the corner of the end zone, then come back down like a curl. Just off it. Good coverage by White. Brent Munson trusting his defensive backs to win versus man coverage on this drive.
Crowd quiet on 2nd and 10. Blitz is on from the Tiger Cats. Zach feels it, rolls towards it, throws, and it is complete down to the 1-yard line. Looks like Julian Hauser. Big bump on Collaros, but Zach, mutual respect, helps him back up onto his feet.
So this is what's different, obviously, in the last 2 minutes. So the ball's at the 1-yard line. The entire Bomber offense knew what was happening. They run their players on. They run their short yardage team, their extra tight ends, their quarterback to be able, and they should snap this ball and lose very little time.
Perkins, left-hand side, pushes into the end zone. tackle. Chris Ike waving at the entire offense, saying, let's get back to the sideline and plan for a potential another possession, one that might tie up the ball game.
Bombers going with extra players to the left. You call that an unbalanced look. They put their big offensive linemen to the left, so they have extra bigger bodies, and then they do their quarterback sneak following the big bodies and the unbalanced quarterback sneak.
Castillo with the extra point money. Tommy Neal didn't get into the end zone there as Perkins stole the touchdown from the 1-yard line, but previous career high of 86 yards receiving for Tommy Neal in the CFL tonight. He's at 111. The opportunity, if Winnipeg gets the football back, we expect they will at least once more under conditions we don't know, under score we don't know. But Neal could add to that once again as we see Perkins following the left side of that line with Tuieli amongst the fray.
Good execution of that, trying to run all those players on the field so you can go ahead and do your short yardage package instead of making Zach be in that position. So watching the sideline operation, I thought they did an excellent job of being able to do that at the end of the game.
Bob Dice, special teams coordinator, assistant head coach, talking things over. His co-special teams coach James Tuck as well.
How great is this? Let's talk about the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Bob Dice, Jared Baines, Brent Munson, 3 Canadian coordinators in the Canadian Football League, so that's probably one of the first times I've ever heard that happen. 3 excellent coaches.
And who are they going up against on special teams? Mike O'Shea and Mike Miller.
Yes.
Right? So I mean, a little East Coast and Miller. We got a little North Bay and Mike O'Shea. Plenty of crowd representation. 11 plays, 70 yards, 206. And the Bombers have more life. Yet still in them. Short hopper fielded by Wooden, slides down at his own 33-yard line. Sternowski, he had special teams battle. Joey Corcoran, again Canadian on Canadian battle there at the end of a CFL game with 2:10 remaining. 7 points separating the two of them. And this one could have been trouble if he didn't have that hop directly between the 1 and the 1 on Wooden.
This goes down, lets his offense go out the field. Obviously, what do you call here that keeps the clock running, that isn't the exact same run inside? What do you have in your tool belt that is something a little bit different that keeps the clock running, but is a run play that you can execute?
Hamilton's been lamenting their late game execution for the last 7 days as Trey Ford in the game here, and they're going to go with a little read option, and around the edge the athleticism of Ford, who slides down inbounds. What a time to go to the package play with Ford.
Well, we are on Chris Streveler night, aren't we? This is Chris Streveler night. Put your mobile quarterback in, let them all fall inside and pull it around the defense and give him the opportunity to pull, especially having a tight end to that side. And the best thing he does is he goes down right here, doesn't do anything but keep this clock running. The speed of Trey Ford's different.
As far as we can tell, no mystery injury from Bo Levi Mitchell on the sidelines. They're just going with Ford in the run-heavy package to try and kill this clock. Handoff goes to Roundtree. Stacked up, and you wonder if 2nd and long, 19 will dry off those hands.
Timeout, Winnipeg.
Head back to the huddle.
Yeah, so obviously that's a package they've worked with Trey Ford. Hey, end the game situation, Trey. Here's 4 or 5 calls we're going to make. You're going to be put in this situation where, hey, when you can use your legs, use your legs. So good scheme and execution. Now it's 2nd and 9. How do they continue to get this first down and finish the game off?
Loudest that Princess Auto Stadium has been all night. Week 2, 34-27. Coming down to the final 90 seconds. Bo Levi Mitchell over the top to Keandre Smith on 2nd down. Caught it! A pair of touchdowns earlier, and Keandre Smith with a massive exclamation mark on his night.
Watch Keandre Smith. He's going to run a corner route. The cornerback is going to stay underneath. Bo Levi Mitchell recognizes the inside coverage by Dietrich Nichols and throws a beautiful ball. He's max protected, so he knows I can just put it to Keandre. Dietrich Nichols too far inside. Great accuracy, great play. frustration you see by the Bombers coaching staff.
Tommy Condell wants the football back. He wants a chance to go and have Collaros lead a game-winning drive as Ford back in the ball game. Run look, handoff inside. Defensive line all over it from Winnipeg. They made that time at number 44, Adrian Jenkins.
Loss of yardage that bring Bo back in the game. Everything here has got to be smart. You're already in field goal range. To make it a two-score game. Field goal here, so expect to run. Keep the first time off the clock as you can. And the Bombers are matching it by playing everybody at the line is ready to stop the run.
Roundtree running through tacklers. Can't quite get there, down close to the 15-yard line. Gotta admit, as I'm standing here and I see shots of Tommy Condell and Zach Collaros is playing, and the Tiger Cats are using an athletic quarterback to try and ice a game and subbing and mixing and matching. It gives me memories of Collaros and Jeremiah Masoli when Condell was the offensive coordinator.
Daniel Fever years ago.
Yeah. And Mark Leggio.
Huge response by this Ticats football team on the road to be able to drive the length of the field and put yourself in field goal range and burn a bunch of time off the clock to make it a two-score game once again and finish it.
Play and game clock rolling as they'll kick it inside 40 seconds remaining in Thursday night football. And Leggio smooth as ever. Two-score game, 35 seconds remaining.
Leggio with the kick. Now we know, points came off the board. Serge Castillo hit the goalpost, right, earlier tonight. There was an interception by the Bombers. Had a turnover in field goal range. And obviously that turns into the difference of this 10-point game and puts the game out of reach.
Gotta love
5 seconds.
Love those Booth reaction shots.
Oh, there's a couple I don't like. There's one particularly I really don't like. It's a Booth shot.
Sorry.
Maybe the 2009 Grey Cup.
Let me say this. I love the Booth reaction shots for the raw emotion, good or bad, that we get from it.
Somebody please turn that one off.
Sorry, buddy. That one's in the archives. Part of CFL history now.
Yes, it is.
Couldn't help but notice, by the way, in the slow-mo of Mark Leggio hitting the triple to go up 10. Scott Milanovic was just walking the opposite direction down the bench in the background, talking to his players. He was like, yeah, Mark's going to go do his thing. I don't need to watch this.
Trust in his guys. This is a big, as we saw that stat on how this team has struggled to win games early up the stretch, to go into Winnipeg's sold-out crowd, to be able to go ahead and win this football game. The best thing they did, the crowd was not an issue because of how they played offensively.
Can't avoid the waves. Oh, big hit on specials. What a shot. Was that 83 from the Ticats? Tyson Middlemost. I thought that was Tyler Turnowski because he's known for laying the lumber on special teams and has a number in the 80s, but it was 83, not 80.
Vavel. Middlemost. Awesome. Physicality right there. You want to play pro football? Welcome to that.
Zach Collaros takes the snap and slings this one to the outside. Tackle made on Gavin Cobb. Maybe Tyson Middlemost a little upset that fellow McMaster graduate Tommy Neal has had himself
look at all the boys fired up
big
on these
night.
Big hits, right? These big hits on teams. Boys fired up. They'll watch that tomorrow.
Pass complete underneath. Tim White adds to his tally. By the way, I've seen Tyler Turnowski block a punt on Labor Day in Hamilton against the Argonauts. I'm not sure I've ever seen him happier than Tyson Middlemost making a big hit. He was loving that. Collaros with less than 10 seconds remaining throws this one into a hole. Talbert, Katsantonis each had a shot at it. Falls to the turf. Katsantonis with his first interception of the season here tonight. Wishing he would have had a second to ice things, but It won't change how sweet this victory is for the Tiger Cats for the first time since 2019, winning one of their first 2 games. And they can finally shut down that discussion on how long the donut will linger in the win column in 2026. Wasn't there for long, perhaps shouldn't have been there at all if they handled the back end of week number 1, but they got the job done here tonight. Clock strikes 0 as Nick Dembski makes the grab, and that's his 500th career grab, the 5-time All-West selection. Ends this ball game by becoming just the 19th Canadian in CFL history to reach the 500 career catch mark, but Dembski will end up on the losing end regardless of the tremendous personal accomplishment, as another Canadian receiver, Keandre Smith, he's going to continue to talk all the way into the locker room, I think.
5 catches, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns, a huge night for Keandre Smith, huge at the end. Bo Mitchell, 19 and 24, 80% completion, 287 and 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. You know, Bo looks, as Scott said this week in our interviews, we have the most offense I've maybe ever had in our system. They look at NFL teams, college teams, they try to figure how can we add to our system. Bo Mitchell is like in week 15 stuff. So outstanding night for the Ticats offense, and the defense I thought stopped Brady Oliver for most of this game.
Great action here Thursday night football in the CFL. Hamilton was up 24-10 in week 1. They did not win tonight. They get the lead. They hang on. We sent Danielle Bain into the rum hut. We saw Zach Colaro slinging it up and down the field. A couple of big returns. The physicality, great. What a night. Thanks for watching from Winnipeg. Time now for the original bod. It's SC with Jay.